Welcome to a new video on the NEGAYO channel. Finally. After extensive speculation and analysis, the crisis on Infinite Earths has arrived. And we are already eager to see our favorite heroes die in anguish and despair for not being able to save their loved ones. I apologize for my cruelty. This first part of the trilogy is centered on Barry Allen, so there will be many time shifts, several subplots, and even a trip to a parallel Earth. By the way, remember that you helped me a lot with the YouTube algorithm, leaving your respective like and comment. No? The story begins with Flash traversing the Speed Force, while around him he observes various worlds being destroyed. Suddenly, now it's Barry Allen who is on the ground. It seems like he just had that accident that gave him his powers, and if this situation wasn't already strange enough, an unknown man is talking to himself on the other side of the room. That same day, Barry went to lunch, and in this place he meets Iris West, his future wife. Of course, we had already seen her before. We even know that these two are engaged in the present. At times, Barry Allen seems to become aware that indeed he had already lived this moment. A vagabond on the street whispers the hero's name, and when he orders him to get up, Flash wakes up, in the middle of a battle against an advanced android. The speedster is so confused that he has to be rescued by Superman. This situation is also about a past event, and a few seconds later, Flash manages to remember the name of this enemy. Amazo, how do you know that I don't know? Amazo manages to quickly weaken the Kryptonian by absorbing his powers. Flash also can't do much with his speed. Fortunately for them, Green Arrow arrives to save the day. The heroes couldn't do much against Amazo and decided to prioritize Superman's health. Taking him to a hospital was not an option, and even though the Kryptonian was about to faint, he asked them to take him to a friend's place. In this way, we ended up at the door of Wayne Mansion right after the events of the Long Halloween. This is the post-credits scene we saw at the end of this duology, but until today, we didn't know the exact reason why Flash and Arrow were here. Nothing less could be expected from the Gotham Knight, who despite it being the first time he exchanges words with these two, had them pretty well identified.
How long did it take you to discover my secret identity? I would have discovered yours too.
Flash is unexpectedly time traveling again, waking up on the day he and Iris were selecting flowers for their wedding reception.
Quality time is my love language. And were you here? But in another time.
Yes, I was. I know these time travels are confusing for us as viewers. The episodes seem common for Barry, and while he can't control them, it's evident they occur frequently. It's also something that Iris already knows, and Barry tells her that this time he was in that era before forming the Justice League. Again, the vagabond appears in the middle of the street, but this time, he is the one responsible for sending Barry on another time travel journey. Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson visited Barry. When the boy leaves to play video games with Wally West, yes, Wally West already exists. Bruce tells Alan about what happened with Dick and his parents. The Flying Grayson's non-accidental accident. Bruce came to ask a favor. To speed up Dick's admission to the Central City Orphanage, as the Gotham one was subpar, to put it mildly. However, Barry starts to suggest that perhaps the best thing for the boy was for Bruce himself to adopt him. It's very dangerous. Do you know what my life is like? The millionaire wasn't very agreeable to this. Who are you? But before continuing the argument, once again we time travel and Superman is found being analyzed in the Batcave. His diagnosis was favorable, but the upcoming fight against Amazo was entirely different. They began to investigate his creator, Professor Evo, supposedly missing for 3 weeks according to the company he worked for, LexCorp. Flash's idea of forming a group of superheroes was still in effect for months, but so far only he and Superman had kept in touch. Arrow didn't think this was a good idea, neither did Bruce, but everyone knew it had to be done. Bruce knew Vixen, a supermodel, Clark knew John Jones, the Martian detective, and everyone went to Hal Jordan, Green Lantern. That guy is the worst. He declined the invitation because he was already involved with the Green Lantern Corps. How do we explain to him that this was a terrible decision? The vagabond appeared again, and this time Flash woke up in a very different Central City. I'm gonna name it Earth 3. The speedster knew immediately that he was on a parallel Earth. This is not his first multiverse travel. He met an evil version of himself robbing a bank with his wicked companions. Power Ring, Old Man, Ultraman, and Superwoman soon appeared. The Crime Syndicate.
How would you like to die?
Now me. Flash was knocked unconscious in the confrontation. He traveled to another time again and ended up on the day the Justice League revealed itself to the public. Here they would build their future headquarters. Superman yielded to the speedster, acknowledging the team wouldn't exist without him. Although it was quite evident that Barry was still confused by what was happening after so much time traveling. Suddenly, the group of heroes began to be attacked. The culprits were Amazo and Lex Luthor. In slow motion, Amazo communicated with Flash at super speed to help him save some of his teammates, although it was strange that he warned him at the same time he was attacking them. This android was created by Ivo with the intention of helping humanity. However, Lex Luthor had managed to bypass his programming, ordering him to attack the heroes who were not human themselves.
What is your main function? The main function assigned by Professor Ivo is to prolong and improve human life. Confusion.
That's what Amazo has. Thanks to this, Flash realized that Amazo was confused. And even though he had a plan, it gets interrupted by another time travel. First, he arrived at an empty ship and quickly returned to Earth 3, being interrogated by the Crime Syndicate. Flash told the group of villains he was a superhero from another Earth, but they didn't believe him. Superwoman used the lasso of submission to verify Barry's words, and only then was it proven that he was telling the truth. Ullman was the one who mentioned that the existence of alternate Earths might not be something improbable. After all, his enemy, Alexander Luthor, theorized a lot about this topic before he was murdered, of course. If it was true that this speedster came from a different Earth, Ultraman considered the idea of conquering his world. Regrettably, this proposal made little progress. That strange vagabond appeared again, showing the Syndicate the true apocalypse. What is this? In the end, Barry Allen moves through time again, right to the day of his wedding. He also remembered this day, and knowing that something was about to happen, he decides to see Iris before the ceremony to warn her.
I only half remember it, but it always happens the day we get married.
Without going into more detail, we quickly return to the topic of Amazo. Flash entered the X-Corps to rescue Professor Evo. The scientist's degenerative disease motivated him to develop the android. Amazo was supposed to prolong Evo's life by absorbing quantum energy. But unfortunately, the ex-Luthor managed to use Amazo to his advantage after making the professor disappear. Upon leaving the building, we reappear on Earth 3, where the end is imminent. The destruction devastated cities, and although Flash intended to help the people around him, this mysterious wanderer only limited himself to saying that this land was already dead.
I remember seeing you in my world. I walked through all the worlds. That they are doomed, it's my punishment.
In case you haven't been paying much attention to this animated universe, and the previous one lets you know quickly, this man is Constantine. The same one seen in Green Lantern, Fear My Power, House of Mystery, and Apocalypse War. What did you do?
It was
Ago.
so long ago I don't remember, but I know that you share my guilt.
Once again, we travel to the era of the League, facing Amazo. Lex Luthor was complicating the situation for the heroes, with only Batman and Green Arrow still standing. Flash arrived on time with Evo to stop Amazo. The android was still a bit confused about its programming, but this professor knew exactly how to handle it. Instead of discharging the energy against Luthor's enemies, all the charge was directed at Ivo in order to heal him. After all, that was the reason why Amazo was created. Unfortunately, this act ended up killing Ivo. Amazo was unsure how it happened. He started analyzing his data and calculating probabilities. Indeed, it was quite strange that Ivo was suffering from that degenerative disease that was killing him. Even stranger is that he, an expert in robotics and artificial intelligence, had acquired such a disease. While working at LexCorp, Lex was discovered, his armor was destroyed. And before Amazo was killed, he decided to comply with his programming, also respecting the lives of metahumans. And while Lex Luthor was imprisoned, and the Justice League stood tall from that day.
After all, we already have the building.
We are now heading into a new era, in time, the future. The years have passed for Iris and Barry, but how? And why doesn't their surroundings move? We will find out later. Meanwhile, we can only return to the wedding day, where Vixen marries the couple. Of course, before the appearance of Harbinger.
Your world is in terrible danger.
Suddenly, we are now on the Monitor ship. Dozens and dozens of heroes have been brought from different universes to face a common threat. Characters we have already met like Black Canary and O-Man. Batman also knows that Dick Grayson from another Earth, one who was adopted and trained by Bruce Wayne to protect Gotham.
That seems too irresponsible.
We assist many people. Also, Helena Wayne attended, spoiling her life story. If only she took our Batman.
The Wonder Woman from Warworld reunites with her Earth 2 Superman who knows Earth 1 Superman. We meet again with Charles Halstead, who mysteriously disappeared since Justice Society. Other characters like Blue Beetle, Nightshade, and The Question from Charlton Comics are also featured. More specifically from that Detective Comics showcase released in 2022. Anyway, there are many characters to identify them all, so we will only focus on those who participate more actively in this movie. Dr. Hoshi makes her debut in this first part of the Crisis on Infinite Earths. She gets a super suit thanks to a machine they took from Marvel's Secret Wars, and also acquires superpowers thanks to Harbinger. By the way, Charles also takes advantage of this technology to dress more appropriately. A detail I didn't see coming is that Harbinger turns out to be the very face on him. My love, do you want to know how it ended up here? Yes, do you want to know? Do you? Well, too bad, because they never explain it. You'll have to wait until the second or third part of this story. At last, the true person responsible for bringing all these heroes together. The Monitor appears, a member of an ancient race, as old as the universe, dedicated solely to observing history. But on this occasion, the evil that awaits is so terrible and threatens to destroy reality that he has been forced to intervene. The multiverse is real, and a wave of antimatter is destroying each of the worlds out there. Of course, all those summoned had questions, especially about how real this threat was. Why are almost all the heroes here from Earth? The answer was simple. Earth, in every reality, was always the first planet to fall. Once destroyed, everything else continued to fade away. Flash recalls being in another reality destroyed by antimatter, and the champions can confirm this evil's existence by attacking. Batman knew this was not a battle about brute force. It was evident that the Monitor had gathered brilliant minds on the team to find a way to save the multiverse.
Each one possesses the skills, strength, and speed to build any defense that their scientists devise.
We return to Earth 3. And can the Crime Syndicate contemplate the antimatter wave destroying everything in its path? This group never intended to help. They were never the good guys. There is no goodness in them, but still, this is their world and they would seek to do whatever it takes to save it.
Perhaps the time will come when the most logical thing is a stupid and useless gesture.
Needless to say, all attempts were in vain. Powering fell, Superwoman knew everything was useless, Ullman sacrificed his life in vain, and Ultraman piece of pea. Did he believe a single blow would end a global threat?
Are you okay, Chest? Always.
Johnny Quick was also consumed in his attempt, desperate to escape. Thus, we return to the distant future, where Barry Allen and Iris West carry on with their life. This subplot starts to make a little more sense when we see Amazo in Flash's basement. It seems that for a long time they have been working on a project and they are about to finish it. But to find out what it's about, you'll have to wait a few more minutes. The scientists couldn't find a way to save the multiverse. To be honest, it was a complex task that demanded excessive technology, energy, and time. And then this fool shows up who goes to stroll through multiple universes just to make coffee. That is, at no time did it occur to him to say that he could make these trips at will. Or that his power, maybe and just maybe, could be key in the search for an answer. I don't know who's worse, Flash for not realizing it, or the brilliant minds for not paying attention when he first mentioned it. Either way, this sparked everyone's neurons. They set about building a vibration generator, a kind of tower that would power others in different realities. Vibrating the Earth at precise frequencies between dimensions allows seamless passage between worlds without damage. For what thing? From whom? Of course, it was a project of colossal scale, but there were no other options and the plan was feasible. For the first time in the animated universe of movies, the different realities that make up the Tomorrowverse begin to be officially enumerated. Like number 100, 46, Earth 2, 4, and number 1. Will we see more lands in the following movies?
That is the question.
We return to the future of the old neighborhood, where time is stopped. This Flash is building something and the antimatter wave is right above him. That nearly finished project is the tower. Understanding this is not very complicated, but it was a bit surprising and unexpected to me. When the heroes were building the towers in their respective realities, antimatter suddenly appeared, accelerating its course. This should not have been possible, as the monitor indicated it was a natural phenomenon. Batman was the only one who suggested that the antimatter was actually aware of its actions. Metropolis was attacked. The Vagrant reappeared. In my view, when he tells Barry that he must run, he does it with a hint of regret, as if it came to his memory that it was that very thing he told him so long ago. That action that is now claiming the lives of billions of lives in the multiverse.
Do you know what you have to do? Run! Run towards her.
Flash saves Iris from certain death, even as the world faces its imminent end. He has no choice but to apologize for all those times when his hero work didn't allow them to be together.
You arrived late to all the dinners, to the movies, but always on time when I needed you.
No, I won't let you go. Just before being reached, and thanks to Barry Allen absorbing all the speed force from Earth 3 as it was destroyed. Now he possesses such an amount of energy that he is capable of stopping time, just for him and Iris. That's how we ended up inside this subplot, with this couple at an advanced age. They spent years working alone with Amazo to save the world. But all things must end. Iris West collapsed, succumbing to heart failure. She bid farewell to her beloved, entrusting him to complete what they had begun.
It's the big day, Barry.
I didn't arrive late.
The wave kept coming, and Flash could only hope that so many years of work would pay off. Amazo also said goodbye to his friend, thanking him for helping him fulfill his main function, prolonging human life. Well, I guess you've done it, the big thing. Time continued its course. The tower appeared in front of the heroes on Earth 1, and Barry used the rest of his energy to try to save the multiverse.
Was it enough? We'll find out.
I didn't mean to tell them 3, 2, 1.
Dad, it's okay.
The plan had worked. Everyone was safe. Now Monitor was surprised at the hero's achievement. The Spectre was with him. Now we know who was the one who warned him first about this threat. This spirit of vengeance also appeared in front of Barry Allen. He mentioned that part of the responsibility for these events was the speedsters, and even though Flash still couldn't remember his actions, he accepted to face the consequences. Anyway, before disappearing, the Spectre allowed Barry to use the Speed Force one more time just to say goodbye. After all, his end was near. The strange subject in the lab was him too. Bruce's vision on Warworld shifts to Barry Allen and Iris West's wedding. It's revealed that the couple struck a deal with Harbinger. He helped bring Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne to this place. It seems that Shayera too. It was the calm before the storm. Meanwhile, on the Monitor's ship, something strange happens with Psycho Pirate, who suddenly falls to the ground just like Downstar. The Monitor did not respond to Carrascol, and when trying to communicate with Brainiac 5, he was also fading away. It seems that the events we just witnessed have drastically changed the future, so everything we knew from the 31st century has completely disappeared.
Is the ending sad or happy? It's just an ending?
What really happened to the Legion of Superheroes? Was it Thanos? Did the Monitor know this was going to happen? How did Kara end up being Harbinger? Why didn't Psycho Pirate get old, given that he's also from Earth 2? Did something in time change, even before World War II? Why did they talk to so many superheroes and nothing else? Did they need like 10 people? Where the hell is the Earth 1 Wonder Woman, who just doesn't appear in any movie? Will we ever know where the others are? Green Lanterns? Why didn't they just talk to Alfred to clean up all the mess from Flash and Constantine? And most importantly of all, has John Constantine found a way to use his punishment to his advantage?
I have many questions.
Let's remember that after having tricked the Spectre and also the House of Mystery, he ended up being caught by a glow, which we know was the now present threat, devouring universes. When Constantine Vagabundo first appeared in Green Lantern Fear My Power, he was about to be killed by vandals. He never showed any signs of being able to do magic. The subject seemed insane, unlike now, where he uses his involuntary trips to other lands to get closer to Flash. Could it be that he is somehow pulling the strings on what will come in the future? Will he return and play a more significant role in the remaining two parts of this trilogy? We'll soon find out. Subscribe and turn on notifications to stay updated on new content, especially with the trailer for the second part of The Crisis coming soon. I also suggest following me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for quicker updates on this type of news. Thanks a lot for stopping by, folks. Don't forget to leave your comments about this story. And in the meantime, I have nothing else to say to you. I'm Alex from the NEGAYO channel. See you later, and thank you.